Right, you're watching South Central. Remember, this is where news from South India breaks first, even as we add perspective to everything hot and happening and everything that should matter from the 5 South Indian states. On to Telangana first. For the first time since the state's formation, Telangana's borrowings have breached the fiscal responsibility and budget management or FRBM limits for the current fiscal. The Congress government there, led by Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, is now set to borrow an additional 5,500 crore rupees beyond the approved limit of 54,009 crore. According to the Reserve Bank of India's latest calendar of market borrowings for the October to December quarter, the state has placed an indent for 9,600 crore rupees. Remember, Telangana has already borrowed 49,900 crore rupees in the first half of the fiscal. That's over 92% of its annual borrowing ceiling. Now, with this fresh round of market loans, the state's total borrowings are expected to touch 59,500 crore by the end of December, overshooting the FRBM cap by a significant margin. Right, and keeping with Telangana, the principal opposition, that's the BRS and the BJP, have called for a rollback to the state government's decision to hike bus fares by as much as 10 rupees per ticket. Remember, commuters in Hyderabad and Secunderabad will now pay an extra 5 rupees for their first 3 stops and 10 rupees for subsequent stops under the Telangana State Road Transportation's revised rate structure. The hike is being justified as a means to help fund infrastructure for the deployment of 2,800 electric buses across the city. Remember, this is what BJP's state president for Telangana had to say on the decision of the government to hike those bus fares.
This is a very atrocious decision on the common man. One side, you say that you are giving free ride for women, but on the other side, the common man has to pay more price. And the bus fare hike is unwanted, and the government should withdraw this hike. And moreover, this hike amount also is, in fact, more than proportionate increase. From 5 to 10 is almost doubling it. So I think the government should withdraw. Otherwise, Bharatiya Janata Party condemns this type of taxing on the common man, and this is an anti-people decision by the Congress government.
Right, that fare hike there being seen as a bone of contention between the opposition in Telangana and, of course, the Revanth Reddy Congress government in the state. Now, moving on to Tamil Nadu. After the deaths of 11 children in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan linked to the cold-riff cough syrup, the Tamil Nadu government has banned the sale and distribution of the drug itself. Meanwhile, the Telangana Drugs Control Administration has issued a stop-use notice for cold-riff, widely suspected to be contaminated with diethylene glycol or DEG. This, of course, remember, is a toxic compound discovered in some of the fatal cases connected to consumption of the drug in both those states, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. The drug regulator has directed retailers, wholesalers and hospitals to immediately halt the sale and use of the batch and report all existing stocks of cold-riff. Meanwhile, Karnataka has also placed the drug under watch, advising both chemists and other pharmacists to suspend sales until safety tests are confirmed and their results are, of course, underway. Meanwhile, the Tamil Nadu government has filed an appeal in the Supreme Court against Governor R.N. Ravi. The latest discord between the government and the state's governor comes after Governor Ravi sent the state's Kalainar University bill for presidential assent. The state's appeal against its governor now asks that the apex court declare all consequent decisions of its governor as quote-unquote illegal and constitutional. Remember, this isn't the first time that the government here in Tamil Nadu and Governor Ravi have squared off. In a landmark ruling earlier this year, the top court slammed the Tamil Nadu governor for failing to provide assent to 10 bills sent to him by the state legislature. In fact, following this, President Draupadi Murmu wrote to the Supreme Court seeking clarity on the constitutionality and the actions taken by state governors and whether or not these actions could in fact invite judicial review. Right. Exactly a year ago, Chennai-based SaaS firm Kissflow saw its founder and CEO, Suresh Sambandam, turn startup investor. The plan, he said, was to find startups from Tamil Nadu worth investing in. Today, his venture capital firm Mudal VC says it's tough finding these startups because the ecosystem in the state hasn't quite matured just yet. Earlier today, I sat down with the partners at the VC firm to get the lowdown on their portfolio and which sectors they're betting on. That's an ET Now exclusive. Listen in to a chunk of that conversation.
There are challenges in finding those 50 startups. So contrary to what people believe, right, we are not finding so many investable startups simply because the ecosystem has not yet fully matured and bubbled up to that level. In the last 3-4 years only, the Chennai or Tamil Nadu ecosystem has doubled down on startup building, the startup ecosystem building activities. So it's going to take some more time. So we are actually not yet finding investable companies. And also in our case, it takes like 6 months of what you call dating time. Because our model is a bit different. Right. It's not like we listen to pitches and then, oh, it's a good idea, then we do due diligence and then go invest in this company. We don't take that approach. We listen to founders who we find very good and they're very good ideas, and then we work with them for 6 months. In that course of 6 months, we build a relationship. And naturally, investing becomes a very logical point. So that's another reason. So maybe I'm actually thinking our cycle is more like 18 months. Right. So now it's been 12 months. We probably need another 6 months for us to get another 5-10 companies.
No, but it's interesting what you're saying, Suresh. The fact is that we may have a dearth of actually investable companies as far as the Tamil Nadu ecosystem is concerned. Yeah. So cards on the table, I know for a fact that an 18-month incubation window is probably where you are right now. But in terms of number of startups that you're engaged with, that you're dating, so to speak, what would those numbers look like?
I think we have 3 stages actually in our funnel. We call this like a shortlist stage, and then there is a potential stage, and then there is a portfolio stage, which is basically invested companies. So in the shortlist stage itself, we have like 60-70 companies. There we do a lot of mentoring. And around 20 companies have moved to potential.
Right.
So out of the 50-60, 20 have moved to potential. And then we have like invested in, last time we talked about 15. Now we have invested in 4 more companies. So totally like our portfolio has gone to like 19.
Absolutely. So that's a nice 33% growth over where you started from. So Arvind, let me come to you then. Who are these startups in Tamil Nadu that are actually showing a lot of promise, where you've put your money? And how much of that money have you actually put in terms of investments in these companies?
Sure. So, I mean, from last time, we've been sector agnostic, and that's been one of the theses. So that still remains. And adding to that, the couple of companies that we've done in the last, 1 year, we have a company called Silverbox, which is entering the jewelry space, very particularly silver, and we're very excited about that. And we have some exciting news coming in the next 1 or 2 months. And another company is called Hot. That's in the consumer app space, and it's a very interesting founder. We sort of call him like the Sam Altman of Mudal VC. He's a very interesting guy, and that's going to easily become a global brand soon. Another one, I think, beyond that, we have SmartSeas, which is in the shipping industry and using AI solutions for the shipping industry to make that industry grow and transform. So these are some things that we really are betting big on. And all of that, the common thing is the founder quality that we're able to, narrow down.
Suresh, if I quickly come down to you now. I know for a fact that you've said that, you are looking at certain companies. The number has gone from 15 to 19. But I guess the amount you've chosen to invest in these companies stays the same. 125 crore is what you identified earlier, 100 of which was a growth stage capital. Can you divide up those metrics and tell me how much has already gone in terms of investment, how much is remaining?
See, we have mentally parked 25 crores for putting very, very early stage checks, right? And we are looking at something like 25 lakhs to 1 crore is the early stage ticket size. And that's where we have put in the 19 investment. So if you look at it, roughly you can think about it. On the average, you would have put in like 50 lakhs per company, something like that.
Right.
So that you can do the math. So that will be like 10 crores.
That you've already deployed.
Deployed.
And
out of the 25.
Absolutely. And
so that is where we are. But I don't think many of these companies have come to the growth stage yet.
And in terms of the sectors that you're looking at, I know for a fact that you said you were sector agnostic, and that is an ethos that you followed from day one. But if there's one connecting thread, Arvind, I think it's you are, of course, investing in startups from Tamil Nadu. And also, AI is a huge factor in the investment plans that you've drawn up for yourself. How much of this has featured or has been part of decision-making process in terms of funding these startups?
Sure. So when we started last year, AI was in one stage, and 6 months later it was in a different stage, and today as we speak, it's completely transformed the way lives have changed, right? So I think we never had like a mindset that we're going to do AI companies, but as the industry evolves, we got to keep changing the ethos and things like that. So right now we have a palette where we have a lot of sector agnostic companies, but I think we will be taking an elbow room where we're going to start looking at AI companies, AI first companies, and balance the palette in a certain way where we have a good amount of healthy companies that are on the new technology, whilst remaining and keeping the diversification of the companies that already exist. And mostly we're looking at companies that use AI to disrupt industries. So it's not like we'll only do AI companies for tech. So AI companies that are disrupting retail industry, AI companies that are disrupting automotives, and things like that. So that balance is going to remain, and they're definitely all going to be from Tamil Nadu.
Right. I know that is definitely an enduring feature in the startups you invest in. Suresh, let me come on to you next. Given the concerns about investable startups, I'm assuming now that having a target in terms of these many companies you want to reach out to by the end of this year, by the end of that year, would probably be off the table, or do you still have a number in your mind in terms of how many companies you would potentially want to reach out to, potentially want to mentor and fund?
See, I actually, for investing, I don't want to go the number game. It has to be quality. I don't want to just go put money in 100 companies, like those kind of stuff, like 500 startups. I think in the US, I don't know whether there was a huge hype around this 500 startups. Their goal is to invest in 500 startups and as quickly as possible and then grow them. We don't have that kind of goal for investing. But for mentoring, we have a very large goal. Like even last week, we mentored like 15 companies. So every week, we are mentoring like 15, 20 companies. So that number is growing. But most of them are at a very, very early stage. See, one of the reasons why I have to be sector agnostic is we already picked geography constraint. Like Tamil Nadu is the geography. And within that, if you pick a sector, you will get nothing really. So already we are constrained by the geography.
In the end, Arvind, I have to ask you, what's the future looking like as managing partner? Where do you see most potential in the future? AI is something we spoke about. In terms of sectors or in terms of the kind of problems these companies are solving, where do you think the biggest future bet might well lie for Mudal VC?
I mean, for Mudal VC, see, in terms of bet, like what Suresh was saying, we've actually taken a larger vision. See, we're not a VC who's trying to get the best returns or a life cycle and give back money to LPs and things, right? We've set out a vision saying we're going to build the startup ecosystem of Tamil Nadu, and we want to become the flag bearers for that and show that in results. So we actually assess our value in seeing how many global brands can we build, and that is irrespective of sector. I think we want to make sure that as mentors, we are first in what's coming in terms of AI and the new technology, and adapting that to the startups that we've already invested in, and also the new ones that are coming, so that they are first hand and they're competitive for the global world. So if we're able to give that kind of impact where if anyone thinks Tamil Nadu and VCs and startups, they better think about Mudal VC, I think that's my success story.
Mudal VC duo there of Suresh and Arvind hedging their bets really as far as Tamil Nadu's startup ecosystem is concerned, but telling me that there could be a long way to go before that ecosystem actually goes about maturing right here in Tamil Nadu. Now, staying with startups and tech itself, sports streaming platform FanCode has said that Bengaluru and Hyderabad feature in its top 5 markets when it comes to Formula One viewership pan-India. In early 2024, remember, FanCode secured a 2-year broadcasting deal with the Formula One to stream the sport on its OTT platform till the end of 2025 or this year. Ever since, the company has bet big on the sport, most recently activating fan screenings and building F1 communities in India. I caught up with the startup's co-founder, Yannick Colacot, along the sidelines of one of these screenings. That's another ET Now exclusive.
I think South India, just as a sporting ecosystem, is something that has really been working for us. Not just for FanCode, but I think across everything in sports, whether you think about cricket, whether you think about football. And Formula One, as you rightly said, Bangalore is the second largest viewership market for us of Formula One in India, and Hyderabad is the fourth. So it's obviously a really big market. We're really excited with this market more because of the young audiences who are actually taking up the sport and actually watching it. So I think the South Indian market is a really important market for the sport of Formula One and its growth going forward.
Right. I'm really glad that you mentioned both, Hyderabad and Bengaluru and how the young audiences really are driving viewership in terms of F1. But that's pretty much been the story all throughout India, especially in the last half a decade or so. But in keeping with South India itself, what is it that actually drives fanfare here in terms of motorsport? I know a city like Chennai has, a vast heritage when it comes to motorsport. There's a massive fan base here in the city as well. So, what is it that's driving it? And how are you looking to capitalize on the clear fanfare that we've been seeing at fan events much like this one?
So I think sport and the adoption of sport, especially among younger audiences, is its incorporation into culture. So if you actually think the Formula One product, right, has actually not just on the race course, so to say, where they have 21 races, it's extremely fast, extremely exciting, high adrenaline. They've also done a lot of work outside. If you think about the Drive to Survive series, you think about the Formula One movie, you think about the products that they've created, F1 Academy, F1 Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3. I think all of that resonates extremely well with young audiences. And I think Formula 1 today has actually seeped intrinsically into culture among young audiences. So that, I think, is what is really driving the viewership among young audiences in South India and across the country, as you rightly said. And I also think from our perspective, an extremely important part of our role as FanCode, as a streaming platform and as a sports platform itself, it's extremely important for us to facilitate consumption of Formula One. And there's nothing more impactful, nothing more important to Formula One and any sport consumption than communities. So this activation, where we're actually getting the community together, and tons of activations that we're doing around the country exactly like this, to be able to get, if you are a Formula One fan, how can you watch it with other people who are passionate with you? How can you watch it with someone who doesn't like the team you are on, the rivalry around that. So that's really what we're trying to do with this, with content that we create around Formula One and these communities.
Well, who would have known, for all its motorsport heritage, it's Bengaluru and Hyderabad and not Chennai that actually feature as Formula One's two big South Indian markets insofar as its top 5 markets for viewership in India goes. Now, in keeping with Bengaluru and Karnataka itself, the state's Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has said that he will recommend renaming the Namma Bengaluru Metro to the Basava Metro. Remember, the recommendation comes even as the Karnataka government has pulled no punches towards honoring the legacy of Basavana, who, remember, was a 12th century saint and statesman. Announcing his proposal at the Basava Culture Campaign in 2025, the Karnataka Chief Minister said, and I quote, I would recommend the central government to name our metro as the Basava Metro. If this were entirely a state government project, I would have announced it as Basava Metro today itself. Remember, Basavana, who is regarded as Vishwaguru in the state, was a 12th century statesman whose legacy has more or less become one with Karnataka's heritage and legacy itself. The Chief Minister also added, I am an admirer of Basavana. I have faith and commitment to the principles of Basava. My belief is that Basava's principles are eternal and relevant, not just in the past, not just today, but in fact forever, end quote. Winds of change there could well be coming to the Namma Metro rail in Bengaluru, even as Karnataka seems to go forward with honouring Basava's legacy. Well, on that note, we'll have to wrap up this edition of South Central on ET Now. Keep watching this space even as we continue tracking all that's important, significant and making headlines across the 5 southern states. For me now, it's goodbye for the moment as we return.